Welcome back to Momentous Struggle, a Star Wars Shatterpoint podcast. On today's episode, Aubrey and I are going to do our year in review since we are recording this on New Year's Eve. So let's go ahead and jump into it. As always, joined by Aubrey. How are we doing today?
It is the last day of the year. The house is closed on. That was stressful. And now I am packing in a house with my mother-in-law who throws random things into boxes.
It'll be fine.
She took books off the top of my shelf and books off the bottom of my shelf and put them in Talia's box of books. Like I'm a librarian. like listeners, my Star Wars books are in chronological order from the beginning of Legends to the end of Legends. She threw them in at random. It's so helpful that she wants to help me move. It's so helpful. But it's like watching a car wreck in reverse in real time. I'm a librarian.
This is killing your OCD.
Books have an order. My fiction books that aren't Star Wars are in alphabetical order by author's last name, as it should be. Fine, Todd, I'll make it. It's gonna be all right. It's gonna be okay.
I think you'll get there. It's gonna be fun watching this as an outside observer, though. I will enjoy that.
Yes.
So,
I did, however, Todd, put in a game of Shatterpoint. One whole game of Shatterpoint in the month of December, basically.
That is, yeah. I mean, that's par for the course. I think for this month, I actually did a teaching game yesterday. I was at Tabletop Wargamer, one of our other local stores, and I was doing some MCP testing for LVO, and then decided to go ahead, or somebody else showed up and was asking me about doing a teaching game. I didn't have my stuff, but luckily the store had like the core box
Core
there.
set.
Yeah, they had the core set there. So I was like, hey, why not? I asked them if I could use their stuff. I did, and just did a quick little. We got through like 2 struggles because it just after 2 games of MCP, I was not really in the frame of mind for a full game. But yeah, it was good. You know how teaching games go, though. They always end up. You're more focused on the other person and making sure that they're grasping the game, that you're not really focused on winning. But it's always good to help sit there and grow the community and stuff like that. So
Yes. We're not going to talk about how I'm still like 1-17 against my stepson. He kicked my butt again. I mean, he was playing Vader Maul, so we're just gonna blame it on Vader being too strong.
let's go with that. Yeah.
I lost that one. I was testing. I wanted to see. I had not played with like the whole Bounty Hunter box, so I ran it alongside my usual Mother Talzin, Obi, and because the Bounty Hunters were in there, I ran Clan Kreese Mandos into a Vader Maul list, and oh my god! I even played super defensively. I kept my supporting characters way back, away from the heavy hitters, and no, like he only got 4 wounds on me. Like I did a good job of preventing wounding, but just the objectives did not go my way. Did not. We were on a shifting priorities. So.
Okay. Yeah, we ended up playing shifting priorities because I didn't have my stuff with me. So but I think that's the best teaching game, like one anyway. So that was fine. And I was funny. I was talking with one of the local players, and he is all in on playing the Bounty Hunter box with the Grand Inquisitor box because you can turn the Bounty Hunters into Inquisitorious.
Huh.
And there's so much. There's a lot of force refresh there that happens with. So it was interesting. His. I mean, he's a big Warhammer guy, so it was. He comes from it. Like I think his way of looking at gaming is a little different than like the skirmish stuff, but. Like everything he was talking about made sense to sit there and use the bounty hunters as Inquisitorious, and Fifth Brother's just so good anyway. So it was interesting. An interesting idea there.
Yeah. Yeah, parent. I told parent because parents had been doing this thing where he's like, "You pick out a list, you pick out a list," and I was like, "Not this time." I'm like, "You pick something out." So the kid casually landed on Vader, Django, Magna Gars. Well, he had a brief moment where he was like, "Oh, well, I could play Gar Saxon," and I'm like, "But you don't have any other Mandalorians in your list because the other squad was uh, Maul, Savage, Fifth Brother, which I gotta say." That was a pretty heavy hitting
Yeah.
list. Like he had just enough. There was one moment where I made, I guess, a fatal mistake, but I didn't think about uh, Savage. When Maul moved, Savage moved, and then with that movement plus his dash from his, what is it, Force Fury or something Fury, I don't know, uh, got him just with it barely within range of my CAD who was behind the center point, and he just beamed him. It was a rough time.
So you're talking about his furious rush where he gets to dash even unless he's wounded or injured.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't account for Savage moving when Maul moved because I thought, like, again, I was playing super defensive. I was like, all right, we're gonna keep Cad back. We're gonna keep Clan Crease back. We're gonna let him take some early points, and it worked a little bit. Like there was a couple of, like, his Vader activations were actually pretty bad because he kept getting Vader at the wrong time, but it didn't matter because Vader was making everything else run smooth. The trains ran on time.
Nice. Okay. Oh yeah. So
So who knows?
his unwitting brute. Yeah, I guess that's one that you don't really think about. I guess that often is like his unwitting brute when an allied separatist or Deathmarian primary. So it could just within 3 he gets to dash also. So that's a lot
Hmm.
of he has a lot of movement. He's still one of those. I mean, there's just so many other secondary units that out overshadow him in the places that he gets played that he just doesn't get played a lot. And I still think he's good. There's just other options that are better than Savage. And that's really what I think it comes down to.
Yeah, yeah. And I might just be still on the Dathomirian train, so I'm singing his praises, even though I wasn't even playing him. Oh, spoilers. I know I'm late to the party, everyone, but Aura Singh's just bad. She's 5 points, and like every time I needed her to do something, it was just not enough. Every time.
Interesting. I mean, I haven't played her a
Ugh.
lot yet. I mean,
Ugh.
in all honesty, I have not really put her on the table a whole heck of a lot. Um, but yeah, at 5 points, it's like I still think she just doesn't do everything you want her to do at 5 points. You know, I mean, the range 7 or the 7 dice range 5 is nice, but it's like she's 5 points. Yeah, I still think you want something more out of her than what you're actually getting.
Well, right. I think the problem is just the only thing we have to compare her to is Kalani,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, and Kalani is devastating. So I guess I shouldn't say, I mean, there were a few key moments where Aura Singh could have saved me the day, but she just didn't punch up enough. Like there was one moment where I basically I made a mistake, a second mistake, but I didn't know it was a mistake in that I had an opportunity because she had 5 damage on her and a strain token, and she has 8 durability, right? So you
Mm.
have to heal the strain token. And I had a choice between putting Obi-Wan on a point with his run ability because I activated him. I could have, or no. Oh, that was the problem. Obi-Wan was already on a point, and I drew him, and I was like, should I still activate him just to kind of take cover and hop on the point a little better? Like that would have been all he would have done, but I could use his run to remove that strain and reposition Aura. And I was like, well, but the problem was is that that wasn't going to advance the game, right?
Hmm.
Like he was already on a point, he was already by himself, already protecting a point. It was really just to free up Aura. So I was like, no, that's dumb. I reserve him. Who do you think I flipped?
Aura.
I flipped Aura.
Yeah.
So then I ended up healing. She was engaged with somebody. so I couldn't even like shoot out, and like I ended up having to try and punch Maul with aura, because even if I dashed away, like they were right on top of each other, like even a dash kept her engaged, like their bases were touching. And we're and there and like the way terrain was and everything, because it like he had another unit, like he had fifth brother or something over here in a building here, so like I had to like dash around fifth brother, like it
Well,
was weird.
I don't know if that's yeah, and I don't know if that's a you made the wrong decision because I mean ultimately you are wanting to make decisions like you're wanting your activations to be as impactful as possible. You weren't going to have a very impactful activation. It just happened to be that that was the next card you picked was less impactful than what you are, you know. So it's I don't think that was necessarily wrong. It just didn't work out in your favor in that particular situation.
What's the opposite of accidentally tactical, Todd? Because that's what
In
it felt like.
intentionally tactical,
Yeah.
intentionally,
Intentionally.
intentionally, intentional mistakes.
I don't know. I don't know. No, I know you're right. I know you're right. I did make the correct decision. It just feels like a mistake when you get immediately punished for it.
Yeah.
Because healing her and punching Maul did not lead to the result. Like even if I had succeeded, Todd, like if say I had a wounded, like I probably would have stopped on my tree. Like what would have happened? Maul would have immediately teed up and just knocked Aura into next year. Like it was not like she only needed 3 damage. Like come on. And I had to punch him?
Yeah.
Like no, that's not what you want to do with Maul.
No, especially with Aura Singh, you want her to be shooting. So no, that makes sense. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
And I think the other thing is I didn't have enough force. But that this is turning into me talking too much about my game.
no,
We
it's
can move
fine.
on.
It's fine. It's fine. No, but I mean, so I'm glad you finally closed on your house though, because I know that that was stressing you out like to no end. So I'm glad that that's over with, and now we can move forward and actually on some really important things like playing more Shatterpoint.
Yes, yes. Now that we're done with those silly, spending a third of $1 million on an asset, we can move on to the important things.
Yeah,
Ugh.
gotta love the
Oh, I
housing
think my
market.
whew, felt my heart leap up into my throat again just saying that out loud. Ugh.
Yeah, the housing market's rough. Well, so yeah, so basically what we're going to kind of do is just kind of go over what us personally, not necessarily what everyone in the community thinks are probably the biggest hits, the biggest misses, and some of the things that we're most excited for next year. So this is for us personally. I mean, everyone might not agree with it because these are going to be, of course, based on opinions and on our personal things. But hey, it's what we like. So and I think we're gonna probably try and do like three of each or something like that, just to kind of talk about what this year is. I mean, because this was our first year of Shatterpoint. It just launched this year, so we haven't had a full year. We've only had like about 5 months or so of the game. But I mean, I think it started out really well. I mean, there was some definite hiccups along the way. But let's start with you. What was one of the your big hits of the year?
All right. So these are a few of my favorite things, Todd. Is that where we're that where
Yeah,
we're going with this episode?
sure.
All right. So all right. So biggest hits of the year. I have to say, all right. Rogue support. Rogue support, you are right. I've seen the light. Mama T is our one and only savior, at least until New Space Jesus comes out. Maybe Ezra will be amazing. But I think my favorite primary to play this year has been Mother Talzin. I have had so much fun with her identity ability in particular is so great. There's nothing more satisfying than concluding a combat on your opponent's turn and saying, hang on, you think you just wounded my character and flipped that point, but I have a trigger to resolve
Yeah.
and to just run over with Mama and be like, "Stop hitting my boy," and shoving him back off a point because she has shoves so early on her tree. It's great. And she just knocks him back off the point. And she's like, no messing with my boys.
Yep. No,
So much fun.
she's definitely a very good character. Definitely, it's I am definitely on that mother train as well. Definitely like, and it's funny. I was talking with Dizzard on their Patreon the other day about how like on one of our episodes we were talking about how the droids were probably the most competitive, but Mother Maul is up there, but it's definitely a more you need more practice with this. You need the reps with it because it's not as intuitive as the droids are, because the droids are so plug and play is kind of like the way that I put it, where it's like, oh, you put the droids in, just do what the tactical droids tell you to do and go play. And you need to put some reps in with that particular list because there's a little bit more nuance to playing them. But once you start getting those reps in, man, it is a fun list to play for sure. I mean, and to kind of follow along with you, Maul's probably my favorite, like what right now in primaries, and simply because anybody that like locally, like the local players that know me from MCP, I love playing attrition lists. That's kind of where I am. Like, and Maul is like just a straight attrition piece. He's like, I'm gonna move forward. I'm gonna hurt myself to move forward again. Now I get extra dice to sit there. I'm gonna pull you closer, and then now I'm gonna use extra dice to sit there and try and kill you. So it's like he is really exactly like my play style for when it comes to tabletop skirmish games like this. So I love Maul. I love what he does. He does some amazing things. Overall in the game, he just no place to run. His sustained by rage giving him extra dice, and then revenge. I must have revenge, where he just basically can make another 5 dice attack, and it has to be melee, of course, but he can just make another 5 dice attack whenever he gets hurt. He's totally down for like the type of character that I like to play.
Hey, hang on. That 5 dice attack is never a 5 dice attack, Todd. That thing hits like a truck.
Yeah,
Like to the point where you are doing everything in your power to like do a ranged attack on that man, because otherwise, ooh, oh, you are in for a rough time. Yeah, I almost picked Maul because you know what's great about him? He's not just an attrition piece, though. He has so much control between his sinister cunning with all the shoves on that side and the pull. Like in our game, Perrin was talking to me. He's like, "Well, now I don't have to pull the character I'm attacking. I can just pull this guy off a bridge, go attack your bounty hunters, and do all that." And I'm like, yes, that's what you can do. It's so good. Like in a really good scenario, Maul can flip 2 points by himself,
yeah,
depending on, what else is going on, and it's not even that hard.
no,
Uh, if you tell me that Mama T and Maul were going to be the two characters I was talking about at the end of the year, I would have laughed at you. But here we are. Here
yeah,
we are.
excellent.
Sorry, Obi-Wan. It feels like I'm cheating on you behind your back, but oh well. Oh well.
Your journey to the dark side is almost complete. Yes. So those are our two primaries that we're loving the most. What else is it like? What is the next thing that kind of jumps out at you as like far as the big hit for you for this year? I mean, like I said, it doesn't necessarily have to be a character. It could be a ruling, a mission set, anything like that.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna keep going down the line of at least talk about primary, secondary supports.
Okay.
So I have to say, and oh no, I'm picking like one of the best characters in the game, and also spoilers. I think everybody's figured out who my favorite character is, but Obi-Wan Kenobi out of hiding and his mind trick. Oh, that thing is a drug. Oh, just the fact, like again, I'm just recency bias, but Magna Guards were all by themselves, hanging out with poor Obi-Wan, and my dear stepson gave the extra Vader dice to them, and he's like, "Well, I'm gonna attack," and I'm like, Only one of them's gonna attack. You are not the droid I'm looking for.
Yes, nice. Yeah,
Ah,
mind trick is definitely a solid ability, and I think it's been probably one of the bigger abilities that we've seen throughout like the first initial run of this game for sure. And it's probably going to be sticking around for a long time. I don't see it being. I don't see another secondary coming out that's going to have the impact that Obi-Wan and of course Jango Fett have had in this recency. But I mean, granted, there's always stuff coming down the pipe, but these guys have definitely been are going to be staples for at least the next couple of months for sure.
oh yeah, oh yeah. You got any secondaries you want to talk about?
Secondaries wise, I think the two there's always those two that we everyone always talks about, Django and Obi 2. So I definitely do like both of those. For me, I think one of my favorites that I have been playing with though is definitely always been Kalani. I've liked him from the start. Kalani is like again one of two of the 5 pointers that we have so far. He just does some amazing things for that entire droid's strategy of the tactical network that he has. Target concentrate all firepower, just giving an extra dice. I just call them Kalani dice, but giving Kalani dice. The Roger moving all battle droids, like being that just amazing turn one play. Let's say all the battle droids, we're gonna all go forward, and just getting them into range to sit there and do what they need to, like attacking the center line right off the bat. I mean, Kalani's still a solid unit, and I'm still like playing him when I get a chance to put him on the table.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I got to experience that at the last tournament. The turn one Kalani feels backbreaking.
Yes,
It is so good.
yes, very
Whew.
very solid. It's like, and yeah, when we could just throw everything forward. I mean, granted, there's 7 cards, so there's even if you it's what probably about a 30% chance with putting something into reserve, it approximately. So I mean, there's what 2 out of 7 cards, so roughly about a 30% chance that you could do it if you reserve something to get him on the initial your initial card pull. But still, it's yeah, if you find that happening, it's just amazing. It puts you really on the front foot right off the bat.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. You've got me thinking, Todd. Maybe I need to play some more Separatists next year. All right, all
Well,
right.
yeah, I mean, but next year I think is going to be the year of the Galactic Civil War more than anything else. So I mean, it seems like we're getting a lot more of the we've ended the Clone Wars era stuff and we're going into Galactic Civil War. It seems like so. We'll see what happens there.
I well, I still need a Palpatine and a Yoda. Come on, I need them to take one of those spinning Senate donuts and yeet it at somebody. Like, come on now. We're not all the way done.
Not yet. Not yet.
All right. Well, how about supporting characters? Anyone speak to you on a deep level?
I mean, from the jump, I mean, I've always liked this one. He's just been ridiculous from the start, and I think I mean, I know most people saw it coming, but Fifth Brother is just ridiculous. That force repulse for 2, he has a force jump for 1. He can enfeeble with expose. So range 4, just put an expose on. If he's contesting an objective, he has protection and steadfast. And if he's tied, he breaks ties. He's just so all around good. The only downfall to him is, of course, he's a single model, but he's really good. He's really good. There's just so many. His kit is just so full of so many amazing things. But like I said, he's just got the one model. But yeah, Fifth Brother is ridiculously good.
Nice, nice. Okay, all right. We've been picking like the best models in the games here. All right, I'll give you an average mid tier one that I just enjoy playing that I have yet to replace effectively in my list. Although it's probably going to be bounty hunters, I think, after playing with them a little more. But I've been digging the Clan Crease Mandalorians because having range shoves and access to them early on in their tree, I have been enjoying that a lot. Now, did not go well in my last game because Maul did that thing where he went all the way from the back line all the way to my back line and still managed to murder my Mandos, even though I kept him all the way back on my back line to defend that back point. Maul is so good.
Yeah. No, but
But
Clan Crees definitely are. I
but
mean, range 4,
mhm.
they have sharpshooter 1, so I mean if you focus, you're able, if you can, Mandalorians are stronger together to focus, get those 2 extra dice. They have shoves on steps 1 and 2. Definitely a solid unit. I don't even know if I would say mid tier. I mean, they're pretty good.
You're right, right. I guess we do. Guess we do have all the clones to compare them to. That does bump them up a little higher, huh? Hmm.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. I still haven't gotten over that AMG. You're gonna have to fix this. I wanna do some more hello thereing with General Kenobi, but not until we get some clones that can actually back up my Jedi generals.
That's fair. I mean, that's I think we'll be talking about those in some of our biggest misses of the year for sure. Was there anything else though that was like a big hit for you throughout the year? That, I mean, that outside of those particular models. I mean, was there anything jumping out at you that
I
was big?
mean, not too much in terms of like rulings or missions or anything. The only thing I will say is English language getting the better of me, big braining. In case you haven't figured this out, everyone, which means you're probably an English major like me, Obi-Wan's run works on himself. The way it is worded makes it seem like he has to be engaged first, even though I agree that doesn't make sense. I think he should be able to use it on himself. Oh, and spoilers, he can. But when you read that sentence, there's no comma or pause or anything to indicate that this statement of choose this unit or another unit that is engaged with another character, those sentences combine. Come on now. I know the British did this to us, making us all speak this silly language, but there had to be a comma there or a break or something to let me know that I can use Obi-Wan's run on himself on the first turn. Fine. I'm gonna get over this whole, instead of getting an update from the company every few months on how the rules work, that I'm supposed to just go in a message board like it's 1997 and look for help.
Yeah, you were spoiled by Magic. I have to say. I mean, because like Magic would just basically every couple of months just go back and say, here's what we've come up with. Where this is not that large of a company that's been around for 30 years, that, you know, has been making 30 plus years making a card game that everyone throughout the world plays. So it's a little different.
It's all right, AMG. I got you. I'm gonna keep spending money on your products. That I'm sure my contribution to the effort will give you some enough money to do some rules updating.
Oh
It's
yeah,
fine. It's
totally.
fine. We got this.
I'm sure that'll do it. Like, thank.
You know what's you, you know what's really gonna happen, Todd? I'm gonna go in and compile a list of all of this stuff myself because of how much it's gonna irritate me.
Yes, I'm sure you will, which is just going to be, you know, it gives you something to do with all that spare time that you have, so it's fine. Good thing you bought a house so that you can sit there and do all those things around the house instead of making these lists.
Yeah, that's what's actually gonna happen. Let's
Right.
be real.
I know,
Yep.
right?
Yep. How about you? You got anything else you want to talk about? Good stuff? Or are we about to get into the misses?
Let's get into the misses. I mean, I don't really have a whole lot. I mean, I think, like, overall, I think. Oh, I know you don't like the rules form. I guess I'm just so used to it with coming from the MCP side that it's like not that big of a deal to me. So it's just, I mean, and I don't mind it. It could be a little cleaner in some aspects, and the searching could be, but it's not too bad. Okay, so Mrs. What I have, I'm sure you have a lot to talk about on the the Republic side for this. But what are your misses that you have going on?
So I have to say, all right, because again, I broke this down: secondary, supporting. Well, I mean, you broke it down. I'm just going with it.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, so I love the Galactic Republic primaries.
Mm-hmm.
The primaries all feel unique. They all feel interesting. They feel like their identities work well with each other. You know, Obi-Wan is defensive as he should be. Mace is a beat stick like he should be. Anakin does just about what you expect him to do. He goes in audaciously and just starts swinging. Luminara has a lot of nuance to her, so they're all great. My problem actually is with your Star Wars Bay, Todd. Asajj Ventress.
Yeah.
I want her to be good, and here's the problem: she's not actually bad. She just demands a 4 force tax every time you activate her, and that's if she's not wounded.
Yeah.
Because you basically need to do all of her stuff for her to be amazing. And if you do, and you have the 4 force, she's amazing. But how often do you have 4 force to spend on her to jump twice and then do her push and like that just doesn't happen, and it makes me sad, Todd.
Yeah.
Makes me sad.
Yeah, no, especially like if you're running her with like the B2s, because the B2s need a little bit of force. Um, the tactical droids, if you don't get all the way down their tree, if you just have a bad attack, you want their force to get a tactical network off. So there's a lot of things where it's like, do you really want to waste 4 force? I mean, especially if you pull her early, it's like, do you want to waste that force to sit there and put her in position? Because yeah, you can run her with Dooku, and that's probably the best home for her, so you have a little bit of force refresh in there, but it typically isn't enough to sit there and do it. I mean, ultimately, I think the biggest thing is if her force push was the third spot on her tree instead of the fourth, it would have been fine. I think you wouldn't have had such a hard time with her, because she rarely gets to that fourth spot. It's I see myself getting to the third one quite often, and it's like, so that's, I think, the biggest issue is that you're just not able to utilize her force push, which is probably the best thing on her card altogether. That's the best thing in her kit, in my opinion, anyway. So I think that's probably the biggest downfall with her for sure, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, because I feel like the the primaries all feel pretty good for the most part. They all do something different. They all do something unique. But I don't know, Todd. What do you got? You got a primary you want to talk about that you think we missed on?
Well, and this is more for me, just not really getting as much, not living up to the hype that I wanted him to live up to as much. I don't think it was really, I don't know if it's super bad, but Grand Inquisitor just didn't live up to what I was hoping Grand Inquisitor was going to live up to. He's okay, and I think that's overall just the kit of Inquisitors. The secondary Inquisitor is just not that great, so because of that, you're just not getting that as much out of who we are with that, because I mean, yeah, you can move them, but why do you want to move Riva up? I mean, she just doesn't do much, so it's, I think, just the overall, the box for the secondary of the box just wasn't that great. So the Inquisitorius just kind of fell short overall because it just wasn't that great. So I felt it's unfortunate, but I mean, there is some good force refresh in there with that, but the kit just fell a little short for me.
Yeah, and I think and yeah, I do think Grand Inquisitor's problems is somewhat related to the rest of the units, because like I think it was a huge miss not to make oh geez, Force Sister.
Yeah.
Force Sister's the other support. Force Sister should have just been 3 points. I don't think anyone would have complained about any of her abilities or what she has on her card or any of that if she was 3 points and you could run her with Vader.
Yep.
Like just that's it. Tweak that, and you don't need to just phone it back in. I really don't understand why we made Vader 7 points, but made it so you can't run an Inquisitor support with him. And then that leads into the same problem you're having with Grand Inquisitor. So yeah, this is more of it's almost the same problem that Asajj has. If Asajj made sense in a list that didn't require very much force, like say if you were running her with Maul and with a bunch of supports and secondaries that just have like on activation abilities. But we don't have a lot of stuff that doesn't need force. That's kind of the economy of our game.
Yeah.
So Grand Inquisitor suffers from not having good Inquisitors, and Asajj suffers from everyone needs force, not just you. Stop being greedy, lady.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess that's kind of on brand for her. She's all about herself.
Hey, come on now. She goes after Dooku.
Yeah.
She helps out a little bit, a
At,
little bit.
at the end, yeah, she gets there. She gets there. All right. So what's your next on your misses? I mean, so this is I think where we're gonna start hearing it for sure from you.
All right, Grand Republic. I got a secondary for you. But everyone listening can guess who I've got for you. Why is Commander Cody so bad? I get his deal. You want him in the back, preparing to kill Obi-Wan maliciously on purpose and coordinating fire and shooting stuff down. But he doesn't play that way ever with him. You can't get his on activation most of the time. If you make the effort to get his on activation, well, then you've wasted a bunch of resources to make a very minor effect happen that, oh, by the way, other characters just get to do. Just spend a little force, do a little thing. They usually get a bonus with it. This guy, oh no, Grand Army of the Republic can't expose people. They need to work. They need to earn their dinner. Why, Todd? Why?
Yeah, because the Sith are the better way to go. It's all about the dark side here. I mean, I thought we were learning this lesson already.
You know what? Luke is gonna come in next year, and we're gonna have a chat about this. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say.
No, but I totally agree with you, Cody. Cody missed the mark. I mean, especially for the first. He was the first Galactic Republic character that we got that wasn't a out of this core box. So we kind of were expecting something a little bit better than that, and just didn't get it. He did definitely fall short. So yeah, unfortunate. I think it's yeah, unfortunate for sure.
Especially when our best clone secondary is in the core box.
Yeah,
Rex is amazing. Rex is phenomenal. You a lot of times will play Rex over any of the Jedi secondaries. That's how good he is. I mean, it's Rexy boy, but still, like you would think Commander Cody would at least be comparable. Like maybe they do something slightly different, but they're like two sides of the same coin. No, no, like so bad.
yeah, I get it. So my miss is not necessarily a secondary unit, but something that happened with a secondary unit. When they first launched this game, before it was actually available to purchase, AMG had something slip out that, oh, when you do pre-orders, you get Ahsoka Tano Jedi No More early release character. And everybody was super hyped about it. Everyone was excited. They're like, oh, I'm going to get this extra character, and then I can start playing her early. Well, then we found out each store only got a certain number of them. Like, I think it was like 5 or 8 per store. So, like, the limit, and people were pre-ordering this like crazy. So there ended up having to be lotteries for each store to sit there and get that. And I think that really just like was a disaster in a lot of ways. It just everyone was super excited, and then you found out, oh no, you're not getting it. Only a couple people from the store are going to get it. So I think that was a miss, just simply because of how bad it went. Like the PR aspect of it, because it was we were all excited to get Ahsoka because Stips is just iconic now. I mean, the Ahsoka show just came out around the same time, and it just kind of fell short. So it was a little frustrating on that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense to me. See, I wasn't paying attention to the game obviously at the time, so I kind of missed all that hullabaloo. But yeah, that's always a feels bad moment. You either need to commit to what you say you're going to do. If you're going to give out a Padawan snips to everybody, give a Padawan snips out to everybody, or make it clear that it's a lottery. But I don't know. Maybe to give them a little credit. Maybe they weren't expecting this to hit as hard as it did. I mean, come on though, it's Star Wars. It's a fun game. You got me over here, and I hadn't played a tabletop game before. Like, Maybe they just misjudged the hype. I don't know, but MCP seems to be wildly popular, right, Todd? Like I don't know. It seems like a lot of people are playing their other games.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't have a good explanation behind why and what happened, but it definitely is something kind of fell short there. I'm not sure
Yeah.
what
Here,
happened.
Here's what's probably the more likely thing. We knew there were still logistical issues and manufacturing issues at the beginning of the year. I mean, they were easing up. It was a lot better than 2022. So I'm wondering if maybe there was just straight up some logistics going on there that messed it up, because it feels like Ahsoka wasn't originally gonna be in the Plo Koon box, you know?
Yeah,
It seemed like, and again, I'm this is full on speculation, hot take time. It feels like to me that they meant to give every new player a Padawan Ahsoka. They ran into some logistic issue along the way, shoved it in the Plo Koon box. That's why the Plo Koon box got delayed, because it feels very much like that box was supposed to come out earlier. And and then it creates this feel bads for everyone. So, hopefully we don't do that again.
yeah. Hopefully not. We'll see what happens though. All right. So what do you got for your next one here?
Oh, come on, Todd. Can you guess? Can you guess who it is?
I think it
The
starts with a
Galactic
five.
Republic unit.
I'm almost positive it starts with a 501st.
The 501st Legion, dear listeners, if you have been living under a rock since 1976, are the most iconic sci-fi battalion in history. Infantry, Vader's Fist. We have heard so much about them. They are a regiment that made it from the Clone Wars era into the Empire, being led by the quote unquote same person. They have a charity group that dresses up. They go visit places like, say, libraries. Thank you for coming out to some of my summer reading program events. It's amazing. They're awesome. They we I can I can feel the scene where Anakin is storming Darth Vader is storming the Jedi Temple, walking up the steps with the 501st. Love or hate the prequel series, that scene is phenomenal. And AMG, you give me the worst of the worst units. Like, they're not even the worst clones. They are the worst unit in the game. It's the 501st. Come on. Uh, why, Todd? Like, the 212th being bad, nobody cares. How many of you knew that the 212th was Obi-Wan's battalion? I don't even think I know, and I love Obi-Wan. I'm sure it was buried in my head somewhere, but nobody's walking around going, you know who I miss? The 212th. No, it's the 50 freaking first. Make them good. You had one job, AMG.
Well, I think they had more than one job, but yes, I get what you're going with.
I know, I know. All right, I'm done. Rant over. What
No,
do you got for me, Todd? You got anything? You got anything
don't.
to add
I don't
to
think I
that
can
one?
follow. I don't think I can follow up on that. I mean, the only other thing that I would say that is, and I think other creators have probably said this as well, is the whole thing behind only having the one mission pack. Even if it was, it took us 4 or 5 months to get to the second mission pack. We're waiting on a third one. I think if they came out faster, maybe not necessarily right off the bat, but if we were able to get like mission pack number two a month and a half, 2 months in, and then like at this point in time had the third mission pack, I think that would have been pretty outstanding. Or even better if we would have had a second or third one in the initial core box, just to sit there and have a little bit of variety. Because I think we lost some players along the way just because they got really bored with playing the same mission over and over again. I think there was a missed opportunity there just because some players were like, "Oh, this is I like the game, but it's so repetitive because I'm playing the same thing over and over again." So that was a little frustrating, a little sad that we probably lost some players along the way simply because of the game getting a little stale because there wasn't as much to do as time went on there.
Yeah. And if I could add an addendum to that,
Yeah.
because that's something, well, I mean, you had a bigger idea than I thought. But another thing that I had with the mission packs is because it took them so long to release the second mission pack, I was expecting a much more elaborate change to the game. I was expecting either like I don't know, you two objectives were going to have the bonus points, or maybe there was going to be like an object added that you had to like carry from one objective to another. Like I don't know, I don't have any experience with how the MCP missions work, so I don't I have no conception of what this should look like or what it could be. And so for us to get a slightly different objective layout, but more or less the same interactions. I mean, I'm not saying they're different, they are different, but even just like it's only three abilities, like you only have three abilities spreading out across the mission. Like, why wasn't it nine? Why didn't you get different abilities with each struggle?
Yeah.
So like, and I'm not saying Sabotage Showdown is bad. I enjoy it. I have fun playing it. But because we had my point to bring this home is that we had to wait so long for the mission pack that I assumed that it must be more elaborate, and that's why the delay took so long. And instead, it's just slightly different from shifting priorities, which I don't think is going to infuse the people who are on the fence like, oh, I like
Yeah.
the game. Like had it been a sabotage showdown, like what if one side is trying to destroy, I don't know, an objective over here, and the other side is protecting the objective, and then you switch or something. Like I don't know how that would work in the mechanics. I understand it's easier to just keep the same sort of scenario together. I'm not a game developer. I get this is hard, but now I'm waiting for Mission Pack 3 to suddenly change things up. But now it's like, oh, well, is it just going to be slightly different with like three abilities? And like, I don't think that's going to make the people who are ambivalent get off the fence.
Yeah.
And that sucks because the game is very fun. Like, I like both mission packs. I enjoy playing them. I'm not saying they're bad. It just feels like couldn't we have gotten Sabotage Showdown like a month in? Like this isn't that dramatic of an alteration to the state of the game. Like, come on, AFG, just package it and give it to me. But maybe there were more, distribution issues. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, there's always something going on behind the scenes that we're probably not aware of. But at the same time, I think that, yeah, if we could have gotten the mission pack faster and gotten more mission packs earlier in the life cycle of in the release of this game, I think it would have benefited the growth of the game early on. I mean, there's still, like I said, locally our community isn't bad, but our launch event had like what 12, 16 players, and we really haven't had an event that size since. And I think that's, again, it's because it's just there was a staleness that went. I mean, granted, we probably could have done more to help grow it than we did. And I know I was talking with Alan from Imperial Outpost, and we're definitely going to be having like a league and a tournament starting at the beginning of the year. So I mean, we're going to be starting it off strong again. But it felt like there was something that just kind of fell a little short, which is unfortunate. But like I said, locally, I think the community here is really going to work hard at trying to keep the game going and everything along those lines. So I think we're going to be okay for sure.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. The only other thing I can think of is that. So again, this was my first game, listeners. So I didn't realize that this whole elevation concept and having towers and bridges and things. I just assumed that that's what tabletop games did. I did not realize. Like, I'm sorry, AMG. I didn't realize you were actually coming out with a pretty big innovation. Like, kudos to you because I really like it. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's cool having now watched other tabletop games. And, like, again, I haven't played any others yet because I've been busy. Uh, but I like that concept. And so I'm wondering if maybe they just thought more people were going to lean into the whole terrain thing. But if that's the case, then we need more terrain packs. Not everybody's going to be crazy like me and run out and buy a 3D printer just because I'm so excited about the terrain building part. Like AMG, so some people need to be need to just be given the fish.
Yeah.
like like you gave us all these cool terrain interactions and elevations, and we're getting what, a garage next year? Like we need a we need some more terrain. If you were planning on the terrain carrying your mission packs, then give me some more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or give other people some more, you know?
For sure, for sure. Yeah, I think that's the big thing of it, that at least I know I missed out on was, oh, I need to have more terrain than I actually have. So, it's like now I use 2 core boxes worth of terrain to sit there and play a game, and it makes a lot of sense because I played the teaching game I had yesterday. We just had 1 core box worth of terrain, and it was like, oh, this is so awful. It was so short. So no, yeah, I definitely understand where you're coming from with that. Well, let's go ahead and jump into what we're looking forward to next year. I mean, what are some of the things that you're looking forward to for next year that we're going to be getting?
Okay. So I got, first off, to no one's surprise. I grew up with the original trilogy. Like I'm very excited, especially once we get the Han and Chewie box. I want to run everybody. I want Lando, I want Leia, I want Luke, I want Han, Chewie, the droids. I want everybody going out there and us fighting the Empire. I'm ready for it. AMG, please don't burn me again. I need the light side to have some wins, because I mean, the Dathomirians are one of my favorite tribes. I'm having a blast playing Mother Maul, and I will still play Mother Maul. But I'm feeling a little Sithy right now. Can we get some light side love? Like I want Luke and Leia and Han and Chewie to go off, have adventures. That's probably number one. But I'm gonna sneak in my number two for you really quick, just in case everybody thinks I'm going back to the light. My second favorite thing is to play with everyone's favorite war criminal, Chopper. He's gonna be awesome. Telling you right now, everyone's favorite war criminal, Chopper, gonna be amazing. Calling it out. Let's go.
Yeah, Rebels is definitely a hot one for me. Personally, though, I for some reason just love the Bad Batch, and I am so looking forward because I like, no surprise, Big Dumb Me. I love Big Dumb Wrecker. He's like my favorite character in the new like Disney era. So just having Wrecker coming in there and just like beating the crap out of stuff, because that's again my play style. I want to go in and beat the crap out of stuff, and that's exactly what Wrecker does. So I'm looking forward to what they're going to give us with Wrecker.
Yes, yes. But now, okay. So I have a question. Can I throw in some more of my speculation
Sure, go
of
for
what
it.
I would like to see?
Let's go for
Or,
it.
or does this have to be stuff we know about? All
No.
right. Because I could talk about my Care Bear teddy bears. The fiance has said, she, once those boxes come out, hey, it's right around Valentine's Day. Apparently, I'm getting a present. She's gonna play Shatterpoint with me.
Nice.
Not what any of you are thinking. She's gonna play Shatterpoint with me. Come on now. Come on.
A little bit of role playing. Got it. Okay.
But what I still want is, if AMG, if you're not gonna, like, I will, you can have my money. Make a dual box of Palpy and Yoda, fighting in the Senate with a spinny donut, so that Palpatine can, to quote the novelization, deal with that little green freak and yeet a pot at him. Like, I want that. But if you are rightfully moving away from that model because they're really inflated prices, and it's not cool that we can't use the big old terrain piece in the game, at least make it so I can use it in the game. Come on, AMG. Are you taking notes? I know you're listening. Then my second choice would be Yoda with another Jedi secondary, and then give me some Jedi supporting characters. Give me some temple guards with the yellow lightsabers. Like I just want an all Jedi squad. Can you give that to me, please? Please, please, please. I don't even care if I have to wait till Christmas. I will be patient. Next year, Yoda and some temple guards, or I want to see Yoda getting flattened by a Senate pod. One of those two.
You know what you're going to end up getting, right? You're going to get Old Man
Yoda
Yoda
and
from Dagobah. Old Man Yoda from Dagobah. That's what you're going to get. And you're just going to get him where he's in a backpack that Luke's carrying him.
Wait, hey, I'm okay with that. The dual pack can be Yoda versus R2D2 over the little flashlight. There you go. Primary R2D2, Yoda secondary. There you go. And it's them fighting over the flashlight.
That's awful. No, you're banned. You're banned. Okay, that's it. I don't know. I will be accepting applications for my new co-host immediately.
Oh, come on, Todd, come on. I've talked about a Qui-Gon box. I've talked about a Cal Kestis box. I've even talked about more Inquisitors, Dark Side. Like, I want a 3-point Inquisitor. Just give me a 3-point Inquisitor. But come on, Todd. What do you gotta have something? What do you want to see? What do you want to see?
What do I mean, honestly, like I can't even think about it. Like most of the stuff that I would have wanted, they're gonna have. Like the new Rebels box is like will be coming out. That's cool. I would like. I know that we're not gonna go down the road of like the sequel trilogy anytime soon. It would be really cool to sit there and get a Kylo Ren at some point in time, but I think that's probably like 2025 probably that would end up going down the road of the sequel trilogies. So like some of that stuff, I mean, would be really cool to see like a Kylo Ren and his troopers that he has, and along with like a Ray box with God, what is the name of with Finn? Like Finn as a secondary would be really cool,
Yeah.
So I think that's what I would like to look forward to. Like even like you could bring in Old Man Han or and the Senator Leia. So I think I would like to see some of that. Like again, but I think that's not for another. I think that's more than a year down the road before we start seeing those types of things.
Yeah, we're probably gonna see some Empire Strikes Back, some New Hope stuff. We'll probably get an Old Man Ben and some of the classic looks for the characters. Like I expect us to have like 2 or 3 Leias, 2 or 3 Lukes. Like
Oh, we definitely. I mean,
probably
we're going to get 2 Leias right off the rip. I mean, so we get Leia and
oh yeah,
Bosch.
that's right.
Yeah, we get Leia as Bosch, and then we get Leia in um, on the Forceman of Endor. So we have 2 Leias like, and I think one's a secondary, one's going to be a primary. I think so. I mean, we're going to have 2 different Leias that way.
Yeah, yeah. So see already, I'm just assuming we're gonna be sitting pretty in the original trilogy time period for a while. I mean, like it would be cool. All right, again, trying to be all happy here at the end of the episode here because we're talking about misses for a while. It would be cool to get like Dr. Aphra from the comics and her 2 murder droids. Like that would be cool. What's his name? Ochi of Bestine is this bounty hunter that kind of pops up a lot in the comic books. Like he's kind of like a comic relief character. Like that could be cool. Like there's a lot of ground we could cover in just the original trilogy without even getting to the sequels. So
Correct.
not but although I agree with you, I think Kylo Ren box would be cool. Ray box would be cool.
Yeah.
Like I have my problems with the sequel trilogy, but there were glimmers of good there. There were glimmers of good there.
There
People,
definitely.
if you hated it in its entirety, you were missing something because there were good spots. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, but me, I'm the optimist when it comes to Star Wars. It's like I love all of the Star Wars. I mean, it's like yeah, there's going to be some ups and downs, but it's still Star Wars, so I'm happy. But no, I mean, ultimately, I mean, one of the things I will say, probably that I'm looking forward to also because of the dark side that I live in, is Inferno Squad coming out too. I'm really looking forward to the Inferno Squad.
Yeah, I still haven't finished Battlefront 2. They keep releasing so many cool games for me to play that I keep starting Battlefront 2 and then oh, look at this shiny new toy and then I go back to Battlefront 2 and shiny new toy. I will eventually finish that story because by all accounts I've heard it's an amazing story. It's a fun game. I know people play it online all the time. I'm the single player. I'm an only child. Everybody. I hang out in my closet and play by myself. I don't know why.
We don't need to know about that. They don't need to know about that. That's between you and
you. Video games, Todd. I'm playing video games. Wait, that's not actually better. Never mind. Okay, it's over. It's over. At least we're ending the new year with a bang.
Boom. All right. On that note, I think we're going to call it an episode.
and Todd's gonna edit this last part
Oh no,
out
I'm leaving
if
that
we
in.
get a different ending.
I'm totally leaving that one in. So to close things out, I do want to thank everyone for listening. If you want to support us, definitely leave a review, review the podcast on whatever platform you are listening to us on. If you're watching us on YouTube, like, subscribe, hit that bell so you know the next time we upload some new content. Other than that, again, thank you for listening. Happy New Year, and may the Force be with you.
Happy New Year, and may the Force be with you.